Hey guys, welcome back to the Paladins Alliance. It's finally time. Copenhagen Major's around the corner. I've rolled out of bed and I honestly just want to get straight into the action. I want to record my pick'ems because I've been thinking about these for ages, and I feel like now that we have the two options of the 3-0 and two options of the 0-3, things are going to get a little bit more difficult, especially considering you don't actually get the points for the 3-0 even if you miss it. Basically, it's a little bit harder now to actually complete the pick'ems, and for that reason, I've had a long time to kind of sit and think about what I actually want to go with. I've been thinking about it in bed before getting started today, but I'm gonna select the 0-3 teams first, and I think as somebody that's been watching a lot of, okay, this is already very finicky. For somebody that's watched a lot of the Americas region for the past year, I am not happy with how the Americas region has really gone through the RMRs. I really liked Imperial's journey. I liked MIBR's journey, but the road for legacy and pain do not necessarily fill me with the most amount of confidence with this team. On paper, these are extremely weak teams from the region. Pain especially have been significantly struggling domestically prior to this America's RMR. Same goes for Legacy. They've had a lot of different role changes, a lot of different personnel changes as well, and I don't really feel confident in either of their games to go very well. I've seen a lot of people picking into Lin Vision, but frankly, I do not see Lin Vision having a lower floor to that of Pain and Legacy. I think that there is a lot to still give from the individuals of Lin Vision. They've taken a lot of international rosters pretty close, and I think an odd best of one win is very likely. And for that reason, I'm not going to have them go through Lin Vision, but I definitely don't have them going 0-3. I have a lot of confidence in them to at least just get a best of one win on the board. The counterpart to that, I actually do want to put Mongols to go through. They're going to be one of my first teams to go through. I'm thinking more like a 3-2 angle, 3-1. But I really do believe that this is the time for the Mongols to really step up to the plate and show that they've evolved as a roster over the long period of time, because they really have improved, and I really like what I'm seeing from them. And I think this is the time that they make the jump to the champion stage, or to the legend stage rather. And I think they have a lot to give. So I'm really looking forward to seeing their road at the Copenhagen Major, and I think they have what it takes to actually get the job done. My next team that I'm gonna have to go through is Saw. I think that they're on an incredible run of form right now, and I think that the momentum that they've gotten has been immense. You've seen the best of three record that they've had as of recent. They're pretty much undefeated, and I think the last 5 or 6 best of threes that they've played, that to me speaks volumes to their level of skill right now. I could still see a world where they're a little shaky. They lose a best of one here or there. I really think it's difficult to say that they can win and advance 3-0, but I do think that they have what it takes to scrap their way through this armor, beat the likes of a Nine Pandas, an Amkal, Ecstatic Koi, all of this EU competition that are fighting for that last few spots. I think that Sal will be the team to come out on top and actually advance through. So I feel pretty confident in the Portuguese to actually make it through. Eternal Fire, actually no, I'll talk about Eternal Fire in a minute. We'll move on to Furia. I think Furia will advance. I don't think they'll advance 3-0. I don't want to do this. I don't want to put them through, frankly, because I think this roster is a joke. I don't think that they have longevity. I don't like really their composition as well. I'm really kind of disappointed in Furia as a whole, but I do think that their floor is still good enough for this stage. I don't have them going through to the champions, but I do think they're good enough to at least make it to the following stage. Hopefully they don't run into a Mongols again, but I do still think that they have what it takes to go all the way through to the following stage, just because of the form they showed at the RMR, and I still think that there's a little bit something to give from players like K Serrato, and I think Fallen can still show a little bit more from him as well. I'm going to keep going. I think my next team that I'll have go through, I think, will be... You know what? I'll just talk about the 3-0 right now, because I want to put through Eternal Fire as a 3-0 team. They have had an incredible run of form as of recent, and I really do like what I'm seeing from them right now. You have a roster that has only lost to the likes of G2, Vitality, and FaZe. These are very strong bits of competition, and they've pretty much gone through everybody else in lieu of that. And for that reason, I do feel like Eternal Fire have what it takes to be that bogey team to go through. I think they're going to go through no matter what. This is, I think, the most cohesive I've ever seen this roster in this organization. And I have a very high expectation for Eternal Fire to maybe even make a dark horse run for the playoffs of this major as well. But I think Eternal Fire is going to be a very interesting roster to follow. And I think they have the upside of making the elimination stage in a 3-0 record. I think it's very interesting that this roster, just keep an eye on them. I think it'll be very awesome to see. I think I'm going to have Apex go through as my next team. This team is on paper not supposed to be as exciting as people think. Especially considering, Sense is now in this IGL role. You've brought back Stico, so theoretically the firepower is at an all-time low. But when you actually put pen to paper, they are a team that stays scrappy. They stay within this competition and always can fight tooth and nail just to stay in. And that's kind of what I'm picking them in for. You have Jacob, you have Knock, and Stico can have that odd pop-off performance. And that alone kind of builds me with a lot of confidence that, this Apex team, they might not go through 3-0, they might not go through 3-1, but they're a team that I can pretty much rely on in a 3-2 situation, or sorry, a 2-2 situation to potentially pull out all the stops and move through. So I feel pretty confident in Apex advancement, not necessarily in terms of getting in comfortably like a 3-0, 3-1, but I do think that they can stay and hang around and kind of make that like 0-2 big push into the 2-2, into the 3-2. But it'll be very interesting to see how Apex actually shapes up. As far as following the next teams go, this is the kind of predicament that I'm in. You have you have 3 spots. I think around, for me, I have like 4 or 5 teams that I can kind of put in this situation, and it's really up to me as to who I think will advance into the 3-0. And I think I'm gonna have to just go with it's really tough because the thing is with a lot of these rosters, I feel like they're good enough to maybe go in 3-1 or 3-2, but I don't feel good enough to say that they'll go through 3-0, especially with a team like Cloud9 or Heroic, where you've seen the amount of upside that they have and how they can kind of eviscerate a lot of really strong competition. But at the same time, you can also see a world where they really struggle, and a team like Cloud9, a team like Heroic can lose to kind of anybody. And for that reason, I kind of have them just like squeaking by and not really having like just the utmost confidence to go in through 3-0. And so I'm gonna put through Heroic and Cloud9 in this 3-1 and 3-2 column, and I'm gonna put ENCE in the 3-0. I think that when I look at ENCE's path through, they have a possibility of going 3-0, and they've shown the upside of actually beating stiffer competition. I'll just pull up ENCE's stats as of right now. You know what? Actually, this is really tough considering their close qualifier run. I think when I look at the 2-0 against Astralis, they did get 0-2'd by Vitality. I was trying to see the upside of them at the Copenhagen major, the RMR, sorry, and they didn't actually beat too much competition. So you know what? I'm gonna have to take a risk here on one of these two teams, and fine. I will do Cloud9. I think it's not what I want to do. I don't like it because there is a really low side that this team just collapses and has to struggle through and make through in the 3-2 or 3-1 rather. But I think their path is really easy. When I saw, like, I think they'll have to play Ecstatic, and then they'll have to play a pretty easy 1-0 considering they're the highest seed. And then their 2-0 is like gonna be a tough one. It'll be like what, an ENCE or a Heroic, or maybe even Eternal Fire. But I think I find it really hard for them to lose those games. I can see them under threat in a best of 1, but in a best of 3 situation, I just don't find it plausible for them to lose. So I don't like to do this, but again, I don't think any pick is safe in this competition, and especially in this opening stage. But I think this is what I'm going to settle with. I'll be very curious to see what your picks are in this, and I definitely want to see what you guys have. But reasons why I don't have certain rosters going through. I don't believe in Imperial. I think their domestic results are nice, but they really struggled in any sort of pressure scenario. I don't think they're ready for this kind of competition, considering their stars, Decency and No Way, have to come through in their first major ever, and I think that pressure gets to them. I think that Vinny still has a lot of work to do in the IGLing department at this level of the game, and so I think this is going to be a great learning experience for them, but I don't think they're going to go through. Ecstatic, I'm not like very happy with. I don't think they're a very good roster. Um, I don't even really think they have any wins, like significant wins under their belt. I'm actually shocked that they made it to this level of the competition at all. So for them, I think it's a celebration they have stickers in the game, but that's about it for me. Koi is not necessarily a team that I'm very excited about. They still have Mopaz, but you've lost Martineza, you've lost Sunpius as well. You have a lot of kind of hodgepodge in terms of the exciting pieces in your roster. And I don't think this is just a cohesive unit anymore. I'm not really jumping out to say, oh, Koi is that kind of Movistar 2.0. I think they also had a pretty easy route to get here. As I spoke about before, Lin Vision is not really that exciting. I do see a world where like a team like Nine Pandas or Amcal can make it. You could probably take out like an Apex and put in a Nine Pandas there, or put in an Amcal. But I just feel as though Apex is a little bit more of a scrappier team. I do think that they can still hang around, and when you get to these lands, that's where players like Jacob, players like Nock can step up and just win you massive games, massive maps, important pressure moments. And for that reason, I'm going to have Apex going through over a 9 Pandas and an Omcall. 9 Pandas, they have players like Glowing. They have players like Deletus who could potentially get you into a best of 3 win. On the side of Omcall, you have players like Forrester, you have players like Icy that can do the job. But I think that especially Omcall, they really struggled at the RMR, and they did eliminate Falcons, but to me, I felt like that was a lot more Falcons losing rather than Amcal winning. I think they were a very shaky roster, unstable in a lot of ways, and for that reason, I'm not going to have them go through. So this is my pick'ems. I still feel very uncomfortable about it. If you want to see potential updates, check out the Twitter at Paladin CS2. I will have some updates there to show you if I change this at all. But for right now, pretty confident in these picks. About an 80% confidence interval. But we'll see how it goes. I'm excited for the Copenhagen Major to begin. I hope you guys are too. But for those of you guys watching, like, subscribe for the elimination stage, the playoff stage, all that good stuff. We're going to try to go for gold. Hopefully we can try to get a diamond. But of course, in this day and age, anything is possible. So we'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.